Welcome back to the shop. So today we're going to go ahead and start playing with this new Mitutoya digimatic quill kit for the do-all mill. This is going to be the little Z-axis DRO that's going to be mounted up on the quill, and this is all the parts right here that come with the kit. So there's the box it comes in. If anybody is interested in this, there's a shot of it right there. Pause the screen, look at it, write it down, do what you got to do. I got this from KBC Tools. It wasn't listed on their website. I actually had to order it over the phone, but they had it in their inventory. So not everything they have is actually in their book. So I've never installed one of these before, so this is going to be another learning experience for me, but seems pretty straightforward. We got the instruction manual right here that shows you how it all bolts together and gives you some instructions to go by. So I've been kind of going over it a little bit to try to familiarize myself with it, and just going to give you a little rundown of what we got right here, and I'll show you the mill and we'll try to figure this out. Going to make use of my fine genuine Tupperware brand food tray right here that I just got from the antique shop. I like these because they got some separate compartments here. I think they're pretty cool because, once we put our screws and stuff in the little trays, it's like you don't have the square corners where you're trying to fish a little tiny screw out and it's getting caught in the edge. These are radius, so you can pull them right up out of there. These parts here, I'm not sure about these. There's some little nylon bushings right here and some little tiny washers. I don't even know what these pieces are. They look like stickers of some sort. There's nothing in this that tells me what this stuff is or where it goes. Even I'm looking, there's a washer right here that says 13, a 4mm flat washer, but those are in here. Those are in these bags right here. So these are not shown in these instructions. If they are, I'm not seeing them yet. That we're gonna have to try to figure out on our own, I guess. They don't want us to know what. I'm assuming they're going to go on these little holes right here, these 4 holes. This is the mounting bracket that's going to bolt to the back of this right here. So maybe they go right there to kind of isolate the bracket from the reader head. I'm going to assume. So I'll take them out and then I'll see. Okay. This is the part that's going to go in the quill. There's a set screw goes in there, and I believe that tightens up, and when you move the quill, this moves, and this is bolted to this bracket right here, which is attached to the back of the reader head. So let's go ahead and get started putting this thing together. All right, just giving you a look of where the quill here on the mill. So the big steel bracket is going to mount right here on this scale with those screws. I'm sorry, the aluminum block is going to mount here, and then that steel bracket is going to mount to that. So it'll be mounted right here, and then part of that thing is going to attach right there. So we'll come back to this once we start getting some stuff together. Let's go ahead and install the battery first. Make sure she fires up. Okay. First thing we'll do is take this part here and this bracket, bolt it to it, and the set screw is going to be on the bottom. Just reading the instructions there, set screw on the bottom. So we're going to do that first. All right, and then this is going to mount the back of the reader head just like so. And we've got these 4 screws right here that we will use to mount it on here. All right, we got the set screw in there, and I believe what you do is this is just going to go up inside that hole on the Quill, and you tighten the set screw up, and I think this is going to spread to adjust to the hole size in there so that it's not loose inside the hole. All right, next thing we're going to do is go ahead and mount these little brackets on the end of the scale holder right here, and we'll get this mounted up like so. So I'm assuming that you take the scale off of here, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. There's the original green that the mill was painted new from the factory. I always like the green. I like the factory color on a machine myself, and I don't think the machine had needed painted whenever Dad wanted it painted. This was probably not too long after I had started working for him. I was probably still a teenager. Things were slow, so he had me and the other guy working there, Junior, going around painting all the machines, and this color here is what he had picked out. So just another good memory of the shop and Dad, you know. All right, so this is where that bar is going to go. Let's go ahead and get her on there. All right, we're running into our first issue now. So what I have figured out is these 2 holes where the scale is bolted on the do-all mill, these are tapped for 832 screws. Now the ones that come with the kit for this block, this is the block that's going to go it's going to bolt on right there. It comes with 632 screws to hold this on there. Well, the 632 obviously ain't gonna work, they're too small. So I found a couple of these 832 socket head bolts here that I can use, but the problem is now the slots in this bracket are milled too small. The bolts won't quite go through there. And I'm gonna have to cut one off because this bottom hole right here, you can't go through there very far. Part of the stop mechanism for the power, the Quill, the power feed is inside there. So if you run that all the way through there, it's going to be hitting this shaft right there. So you got to make sure that it's going to pull it up tight, but it doesn't go all the way through that hole. So we're going to have to set this right here in the mill and widen out that slot just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't need much, but the screw won't go through there, so we got to take a little bit out of there. I'm going to attempt to use this digital readout for the first time. I'm going to find the edge of that part and go to the center, which I think is 0.427. Alright, it's just shaving the center side. Let me bump it over. I just use calipers to measure that with. Still just touching, so it looks like it was off a couple thou. There we go. So just using calipers, I was off about 2/1000ths. That's a 5/32 thin mill. I can't tell how thick it is, so I'm just going to run it on down through there. I'm going to go ahead and zero the DRO, and I'll just bump it over to each side, and we're going to widen it out. What did I say I wanted? I don't forgot now. It's a number 8 screw. It's measuring 162. So we'll go, let's go 12/1000ths. We'll go 6 per side. All right. And we'll go back the other way, 6,000. Now that's nice. First time I've ever been able to do that on this mill without having to measure backlash and use little dial indicators down here on the knee. Very cool. All right. All right, I think that'll work right there. Go ahead and move down and do the same thing over here. Okay, modifications made. Now we're gonna have to cut one of those screws off, so I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll get it mounted up. Go ahead and get one of them in there, the top one. It'll be adjustable there as we need it. All right. Let me see. I think the bottom one here, what I can do is copy the screw that come with it on the same length there, and just make it the same, and it should work there. We use the pedestal grinder over there, holding it with a vice grip. Nope, see, it's still a little too long. I can't engage that, so I need to take a little bit more off of it. It's not much. All right, there we go. Try it again. Oh yeah. Okay. All right, here's our main part. All right, we're going to bolt it in just like that. All right, I think everything's good to go. Now the instructions said that when the quill is all the way to the top, which there it is all the way to the top, that you need to have, let me make sure you can see that, this gap right here up to the top of the bracket should be like, I believe it said 280 or 290,000, so that definitely looks like we got enough room right there, you know, over a 1/4 inch. Gonna have to run the table down some more. Alright, we look pretty good right there. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm adjusting this piece right here, which is inside this part of the quill that moves it. Now you see we got a little bit of wiggle right there. I'm tightening the set screw, and that's what I'm assuming is the proper way to do that. They've got that split and the set screw at an angle, and I believe you just tighten the set screw up to widen that out a little bit to catch that hole. So that's what we're doing right there. Don't have a lot of room to work that set screw right here. All right, I think I got her pretty well adjusted. It's still trying to move maybe a thousandths whenever I'm down here wiggling it. I have not set to 0 yet, but we're just coming back up, and it's right around 770 on the top side every time it stops. Okay, I think that's it, guys. We're going to go ahead and set our origin. Right there. That'll be the 0 every time it comes on, or the, yeah. All right, I'm happy with it. So now we can accurately use the quill here to, you know, set a depth if we want to. Set a 0 if we want to touch off and set our tool at a 0. We could do that. We can set a 0. Say if we wanted to, let's see here. All right, so we set a 0. So I've still got about 1/1000th play in that right there. It's just really hard to adjust that set screw back there. And then we can bring our tool up out of the way if we need to, and then come back down and come back to our 0. Alright guys, that's going to conclude the video there for the install of the Mitutoya quill kit. And I'm happy to have it on the mill finally. I'm excited to be able to use it. That's the first one I've ever used. So pretty exciting times for me having the new DRO and the quill kit on there. So hope you enjoyed the install, and maybe that'll help you out if you decide to put one on your mill. All right, we'll check you on the next project.